All right, we are here with On the Way to Work with Advent, aka Cisco.
What's up, man?
How you doing, man? You just came from a long flight from London. How you doing?
Yeah, it was good, not bad. A bit slightly delayed, but yeah, it was good.
You know, a lot of artists, up and coming, they dream of this, but at the end of the day, you have to let them know it's a grind. The traveling alone, it's it takes a beating to the body.
Yeah, I mean, when you first start out, it's like really, really exciting because you get to travel the world and you get to see all these nice cities. But then once you get to travel the world, like
12 times,
a good, 20, 30 years, after a while, it's just part of the process. Do you get what I'm saying? So it loses a bit of the excitement traveling because you've kind of been around so many places so many times.
Right. I would have to admit.
But in the beginning, I can imagine, all the new artists, they're traveling for the first 5-10 years. It's amazing. You know
No, absolutely.
You get to travel, that's the good thing about the job. It takes you to places that you would never even think of,
Absolutely, and I imagine after all these years, it's, for me personally, I value the relationship that we have built over the years, and you coming back to play for Compound this weekend, is very special for me, and I know it's very special for the guys at Incognito, Dirty Epic, Synthetic Minds, who are all part of the whole Compound thing. You've been, a friend of ours for a long time, and it's, I feel like that's the exciting part now, is going back and meeting old friends, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like what, good more than 5-6 years now that we've been.
Yeah, absolutely.
Building a nice little foundation here and bringing me over.
Exactly,
and LA was always a place that was not always on the tour schedule back in the day, because it was always Detroit, New York, Chicago.
Yeah.
LA was more the odd rave now and then. I played like SoCal and a few other events as well, but more sort of rave type,
Yeah, for sure.
So to actually play in the Warehouse, which is where we play in Chicago, with Detroit, with, or other parts of America, it's great that you guys have built that Warehouse scene in LA, man.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And it really suits the landscape because, there's so many good sort of like locations in LA that's just like perfect for the music. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the fact that you guys are bringing me over, and it's like every time there's always a new venue, which is like, I don't know how you guys do that, but it's just like, I mean, I don't know how many venues you guys are using, but like...
Well, every time you came here and played, you played for a new venue. So pretty much the 5-6 years, 5-6 new venues we're using. And obviously, we're here more on a regular basis, so we go through the ups and downs, it changes.
But it gets better for me. I mean, every time I'm coming in, you guys are just raising the bar all the time,
and look, it's not just us raising the bar. I have to give a shout out to the LA community for keep showing up, for supporting, and they're the ones that's really raising the bar. And back to the relationship aspect, before we hit the record button, absolutely, we're talking about, to your family and the first time they came out with you, to Venice Beach and all of that. It's, for me, it's a special moment right here. Taking a Korean barbecue, by the way. We're actually not going to the hotel right away. We're going to Cisco's favorite.
KBBQ, baby.
Yeah, straight to the K, not K-hole, but K barbecue.
No K-hole.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome.
But I'm sure there might be some of that tomorrow, man. Anyway, but not tonight, man. Yeah.
Hey, but Cisco, let me ask you, what do you like most about LA as a city, as a whole, besides Korean barbecue? Because I know you you brought your family out here for vacation. So for some of our, listeners and viewers who are from LA, we'd love to hear more about why you love our city.
I mean, LA is almost, I grew up with watching LA, from like early sort of like just movies, and just sort of, it just has this sort of mystique about it, And when you actually come here and you play and you feel the energy, it's you kind of get inspired, and you get like a bit of a buzz from playing here as well, So LA is just very special, man. I mean, there's some good cities, New York as well, but LA because it's sort of like,
well, the weather.
It's just one season,
It's February. I'm wearing basketball shorts, picking you up,
But it has a good energy, LA, and you guys are building a really good sort of like music scene and warehouse scene, and kind of educating the people, man. So always love coming to LA, man.
Right on.
Become a very, very special place on the tour schedule.
Yeah, and it's great having you here. I'm always shocked because I know you don't like being called a legend, but to me, I mean, personally, you know, when we're even doing the bookings 5-6 years ago, I was only going after the ones I was just madly, not in love, but like I just respected so much, you know, and like your name and even Ken Ishii, come on, I mean, that was the first show you guys played together here in LA, and now I represent him, he's a dear friend of mine, and you know, I just love the relationship aspect of all this. Now, Cisco, one question I love asking every artist of your caliber is, if we were to, let's say today, you were 23 years old, and you were still the Avid, you knew everything you knew, but knowing and understanding how things have gone with techno, with technology, with social media, just everything, how would you navigate today's scene if you were 23 and nobody knew who you were at the caliber that you are now?
I mean, I always give, because, you know, I meet a lot of up-and-coming artists that, you know, now have made a big name for themselves, you know?
Yeah.
Because I meet a lot of people coming up. That's maybe the good thing about being in the scene such a long time and being like a veteran of the scene, is that you do see a lot of these young guys coming up. So, you know, I always say to them, music, be in the studio, spend as much time in the studio as possible. And this is what I would tell myself as well. If I would go back, you know, I speak to myself, you know, to 20-year-old me, I'd say, studio, you need to put in the work, you know what I mean? You need to, you know, sometimes forget about the scene and just kind of focus on things that you like.
Man,
you know that is... Because that's what really is going to define you, you know, is by having an identity. And the only way you're going to get an identity in this scene is just hard work and chipping away in the studio and trying to create a sound, you know, because this is really, I mean, now it's maybe a bit more easier because, you know, you got the internet, you got sort of like software, computers, everything is in the box now, where back in the day everything was sort of out of the box with hardware, so you had to learn a lot more.
Absolutely.
So, you know, I think in music, studio, that is the only thing I would say and advise anyone that sort of like wants to make a name, wants to make an impact, because that's how you're going to get known, by the music, nothing else.
I doubled down on that as part of, you know, our artist map course. You know, that's the one thing you can control. And music, it's with the internet, it's borderless. You can play 100 local gigs and you're not going to get to where you really want to go by creating music and sharing that, and obviously it has to be good, of quality. That's why you got to spend the hours in. Kind of like basketball, right? You got to put in the hours on the court. Same thing with the studio.
The only thing which is sort of kind of like goes against, if you're not really into the music and you just want to play the social media and build a bigger profile and throw money to the social media, and you're boosting your profile and trying to get likes, and I mean, that's the other way that a lot of people are doing it as well, but it's more mainstream, and you hear it in the music, you know, it's not really nothing to do with our scene, you know.
And it's not sustainable, really about the music, right? You know? It's not sustainable. They're like
easy come, easy go.
Max 7 to 8 years, and then they're gone. And like I'm sure a lot of the listeners are like, whoa, 7, 8 years, that's a long time. Come on.
Compared to that, I mean, that's quite generous, man. I mean, I would say sometimes because you can.
Well, look, you have to
spit you out because it's such a.
Well, look, the first 3 years they have to figure it out, and then the 4 years that they're exposed. So like 7 years as a whole, that's the package. And why do so many come and go?
Out, I think sometimes they usually get burnt out on the tours, like the 2-3 years constant touring, and then they lose the focus of making the music, and sometimes they burn out, man. You know
they burn out, they become irrelevant, or they get caught up, and then it's just 100%.
Because they're too worried about, you know, what everybody else is doing, and it becomes in a competition. And you know, our scene is not really based on that. Our scene is based on individuality and creating a sound and having your own sort of, you know, trying to make your mark in the scene.
For sure.
Techno scene, you know?
Well, you know, with me and our generation, I definitely came years later and after. And back to what you're saying, you know, it's easier now in terms of entry. Like anybody can go buy Behringer CDJs and get a bootleg of Ableton and start doing it. But I would have to say, because the economics, there's so many more DJs. I mean, I joke around that every day. There's more people that are wanting to become DJs than there are being born. Like more people being. So in that aspect, like, yes, it's easier to get into it, but I would say right now, because the noise is so much, that it's actually harder. I mean, look, I have to put myself in this position. Right now, if anybody DMs me, like, yo, book me, of course, we're ignoring it. But back in the day, if I got a mail or a fax letter saying, hey, book me.
I'm a DJ. Can you give me an opportunity?
I may be more receptive. Like, because, you know, it's less of a demand. So things have changed so crazy, right? Because it was harder. That's why there were less DJs and producers.
Yeah, you can pick and choose the good ones. Now there's so much, you literally have to kind of, you know, you have to go on the scene, see what's happening in Europe, look at the club circuit, you know, you pick it, names start popping out, and you're thinking, okay, these are the names we must probably want to bring out. I mean, I'm getting so many promos in my inbox, more than, I mean, in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, it's just, you know, unbelievable how much music I'm getting sent on promos. And
thank you for bringing this up. No, thank you for bringing this up, because this leads me to the next question. What is your process? So right now, I coach a lot of artists, and they're crying. Like, they're not opening my emails. They're not even hitting play. They're like, I've hit them up 3 times. What is your process, and what would you recommend an artist who is talented sending music out? What mindset should they carry, knowing what you know and understanding your process for picking demos? That's what I'm interested in.
As a DJ always playing on a regular basis, I look for certain promo pools that I know are always going to carry good music. Whether if it's Fat Drop, whether if it's
Dispersion,
Modern Matters, Dispersion,
there you go,
Out of Sync. You know, there's a few of them. If you can get your music on there, and these people don't usually charge a lot, you know what I mean? But that could be a little bit of a good, worthwhile investment to have your music on these platforms, because then they will get it out to all the important DJs. And there is a good, you know, 50-50 chance some of them would open. I mean, speaking for myself, I listen to all my promos and I leave comments.
That's amazing.
You know? Whether if it's just like, I put the name of the track that I like, and I put like 3 or 4 stars, and I always...
You have no idea what that means?
I don't have anyone downloading it for me. We can get that out of the way, man. I listen to my own fucking...
That's amazing.
You know? That's why I pick and choose. But I do get a lot that I do skip, and sometimes I'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna just test it to see if it's any good. And usually 9 times out of 10, it just goes directly in the bin, because I'm always looking for certain promo pools that carry the best music. So.
Right. You know, I am so glad you answered that, because that's literally what I've been preaching my artists. Like,
it's important,
you know, you have to invest in yourself in these promo pools. And if you give your music to the label, ask them what promo pool are they sending this out to.
Yeah, I mean, they should do. I mean, you know, but you can see already online, if you check, you know, you Google everything, and the list will come up and stuff.
Google everything, or you use AI, man.
Well, that would be okay. Now we're going into another conversation.
Yes. And
we were talking about, you know, how easy is it to be a DJ, how easy is it to make music. I'm just going to say to you that people need to be careful, because soon AI, once they get sort of like integrated into the music software, it's already using voice recognition. I don't know if you saw that David did a video.
Of course.
With Eminem, right?
Yes.
Soon somebody will just get an AI music program, will just put, I want to hit Beatport top 10, I want to sound like this label, I want to sound like this artist, and I want to be top 10. And you put that in the prompt, and I'm sure what's going to come out is going to be very, very interesting. So that is very frightening, because then if you're a record company, you don't really need artists. All you need is a guy in the computer sitting all day just putting in the prompts. Okay, this genre, this artist, this label, and before you know it, it's either going to be good, depending on the AI technology and what's in there, or it could just come out like commercial crap, which is already there.
Right. Well, you know, I feel like, at least for house and techno, if we're trying to stay true, we have to do an audit. Yeah. Was this AI generated or not? And like, but yes, I know. Because look, the audience is what we're selling it to.
Yeah.
The audience don't care.
They don't care. They don't care. And this is technology. And, you know, we are with techno. Techno is about technology, using the technology. But this technology could be very, very frightening, because, I mean, if you put some really good artist names like, you know, Underground Resistance or Drexciya or Jeff Mills. And like...
Shit, or the Advent. You know what I mean?
Ben Sims, or...
Make me a track as sick as, you know...
It could just be like... It could be really good. So it's frightening, because if that's the case, you know, a lot of motherfuckers are going to be doing that program, man. You know?
Yeah, no,
So,
and
careful with AI, man. You know?
I don't. You know what? But here's the thing. Yes, I think when it comes to creative art, music, it is very dangerous. We're going into because like, where is the integrity? However, I have to say that I've been writing a couple blog posts with AI, and it's been
It works. Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
But then with music, right? Because at least with the blog, it's like, look, I have an idea, but I just need it, and I can agree with the idea. But here, but when it comes to music, that is like full blown. I mean,
it's coming,
the ghost producers should be the most worried right now.
Yeah. I mean, it's coming because a lot of people, if it works, there'll be a lot of studios that'll be a lot of out of work. There'll be a lot of producers that'll be just like, wow, how can you make music better than AI? If it's like, you know,
I mean, look,
it's such a massive database.
Look, ChatGPT passed the bar exam, they passed the CPA exam, and they passed the medical exam. So who needs? Yeah.
You know, I know already a couple of artist guys that do a lot of my artwork, and they're all using AI, and the stuff that they're sending me is like mind blowing.
Fuck,
and they are like, Cisco, believe me, all you need to do now is just have the data, insert it, and the stuff that comes out is like really quite amazing.
They have a robot who can make 100 half-court shots in a row because it's all just precision. It's all program precision. So let's change the topic. That was getting a little bit dark and eerie into it, but man,
Cyberdyne is coming, man.
Right? I mean, Cyber Chef, everything is. We are living in Terminator world right now.
Almost. It's become a reality a little bit, you know, because of just.
You know, I was thinking about the Terminator director, the producer, or the mind behind it. They were years ahead. They were decades ahead of what.
And we're in the city. That's what I like about LA. See, I grew up watching the Terminator.
And it happened in LA.
We're driving past streets where, you know, Arnold was kind of with his motorcycle.
You're right.
We're right in the center.
There's a few movies, that and Rush Hour.
Yeah.
Rush Hour is literally where, when we put you at the loft, they shot Rush Hour right around there. That's 6th and Broadway, Hill Street. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was into the hip hop scene in the early. That's how I got into music. I was sort of a graffiti artist, and then I did breakdancing.
Yes.
And I remember watching movies like Wild Style, Beat Street, and the LA version, Breaking. You know, where they're breaking in Venice Beach. And last time we were here,
you
actually see that.
Hey,
cool, man.
And you would post a lot of your Throwback Thursday posts of your back in the days, and now it all makes sense. We're gonna make sure that we drop it in the video of
do it, man.
Cisco the Avid on his breakdancing days, breakbeat days.
Yeah, I mean,
graffiti days.
It was what really kind of turned me on into music and this type of culture a little bit, you know.
Yeah, and
now it's like I mean, look how big hip hop is.
Hip hop is
back then. Hip hop was very small. You know, it was almost like very, very sort of very urban and no way as mainstream it is now. Now the biggest selling music apart from country music is rap music. You know.
Yeah, you know,
so grown
what's
crazy.
Interesting about hip hop and rap, because I mean, 92, I was 9 years old during the time, barely 10. I mean, for me, it was already big as far as I knew it. But yes, I mean, you really be in the trenches and and getting the first CDs of the LA
CDs,
West
man, vinyl.
Oh yeah,
vinyl. Not even vinyl.
Sorry
cassette.
Cassette.
Cassettes. You don't even have cassettes no more in the car.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, it's true. Yeah.
I think I think my era, or at least growing up, I was I was
the
last.
Cassettes? Do you remember cassettes?
Yes, but I was part of the era that transitioned between cassettes to CDs.
Yeah, because that was the next one.
Right, and then afterwards it was like floppy disk and shit just got weird. And CDs.
Mini discs and stuff. Yeah.
Man. Speaking of which, I mean, time is just crazy, isn't it? It never stops and never ends, and
and these last few years haven't been kind.
Have not been kind,
especially with the. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it, but yeah.
Right, no, for sure. I mean,
we're in a good place now. 2023 looks like it's a good year. Things are back to normal. The club scene is looking healthy again. All the festivals are kicking off back in Europe.
Yeah, and
you know,
and we all
live hyped again. You know?
Right, and we all lived through what I guess every 100 years, right? Because the Spanish flu, that was so.
You know,
wild times, man, absolutely. And I think everyone that's watching here, I mean, you know, you still get those half and halves, right? There's people that's like, no, I wish it was COVID times again, because they love the isolation, they love not being so busy, and
spending time with the family. I mean, it had its good points as well, because it allowed you to have a lot of downtime and just kind of have enough time to reflect and reset and stuff.
Right.
But you know,
a
lot of us are happy that it just finished.
Right. But look, I think ultimately human beings need to have balance.
Yeah.
And I think what we were missing is not, we didn't miss those eerie years. We missed the fact that it balanced us.
Yeah.
Because now we're full steam ahead. I mean, you just landed in London, from London, about 30 minutes ago, an hour ago, and we're about to go to dinner, and things are moving fast, man. I'm sure next weekend you're playing, I don't know,
Fuse in Belgium.
Right, Fuse in Belgium. By the way, the longest running nightclub, right?
One of the
longest, in Belgium.
One of the longest, yeah, definitely. I mean, there has been a few there, but yeah, it's definitely the longest lasting, and I hope they can continue because they've been having some drama as well, man.
I mean, hey, look, the scene is changing with time.
Yeah.
Passing, change comes along with it, and I think those who can withstand the test, especially in this industry, nightlife, after hours, warehouse, rave culture.
There's always new names coming up now as well. I mean, it's something that's, you can't stop the new breed coming in.
Right. And the new breed, changes, and the new breed aren't just artists, new promoters, new venues, new agencies, new labels, everything. And
it cycles, man. That's the music industry, man. It's like it cycles every 5-10 years. It kind of, new generations come in. New labels,
and that's why
I think it's healthy. It's good to balance.
And that's why I respect you so much, along with everyone that are from your era that are still touring, because you have truly withstood the test of time.
We do it because we love it. That's the main. Well, I'm speaking for myself anyway. That's why I'm still here. Because it's
purpose. I mean, you found your purpose and your passion so long ago, and it's something that I've been preaching a lot, because everyone's like, I'm passionate. It's like, John Digby, by the way, schooled me on that word. He once told me, he's like, hey, you're like emphasizing too much on passion. It's purpose, my friend.
Yeah.
Because passion it's temporary. It goes up and down. But purpose is the shit that grounds you. On the day when you're like, why am I doing this? Oh yeah, that's right, my purpose.
And everyone has their purpose. They just need to find it.
They need to find it. They need to find it. But you know what? Back to what you're saying, right? Those that are chasing fame, the attention, etc.
It's gonna be harder.
It's harder to find a purpose, because then their purpose goes only to like, well, I want to be recognized. I want to, and
if you're gonna do it for the money, I mean, like we said, you're gonna have a.
Not even for the money, for the attention, even because
it's gonna be short-lived, man. But it's
not everything is based on the dollar. Attention. The optics of being the person in front of the stage, that people weigh that more than money, I feel like, these days.
It's still recording, yeah?
Yeah, it's still recording. But we are almost actually in Korean barbecue.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to it.
What do you love most about Korean barbecue, Cisco? I mean, you travel all over the world, but every time you come here, it is like a guarantee. I mean, I've already, it's a done deal. Dinner with Cisco. We don't care if it's right before the gig.
Yeah.
Right after Korean barbecue. What do you love about it?
The reason why, because I never tried Korean barbecue in the UK, because there's not that many, hardly any Korean barbecue restaurants. You get like a lot of sort of like Chinese restaurants, Thai restaurants, but Korean barbecue is really hard to find, and maybe trying to find a good one is maybe near impossible in
Don't give me a business idea, Cisco. Don't give me a business idea in the UK.
Here in LA, when you took me to that first Korean barbecue, we already went with another friend of ours, and we were like hooked. We were like, I like how you could just cook it yourself. It's very, and it's kind of quite.
Yeah, I mean, it's right there. I mean, it's an experience.
I like that experience, because you're doing it for yourself. And usually in UK, all the restaurants, they bring you the food and everything is all, it's served on.
Right for you. And
the Korean is sort of, it feels like as if, it makes it a bit more special by you cooking it and you doing it how you want it.
It's almost like, first of all, I love barbecues, all sorts of barbecues coming from Guam, but I think the aspect of barbecuing, it really has it breaks down barriers. It makes us enjoy each other's presence and conversation as we're kind of cooking the food.
They bring you the food and then you get on with it. You know what I mean, man?
It's like,
and then you kind of can have a really good experience.
Yeah.
The right people, the right crowd. And,
well, if anyone is wondering which Korean barbecue we're going to LA, so
name drop.
We are going to Brothers Korean Barbecue, and it isn't all you can eat, but it's one of the best all you can eat Korean barbecues. It is one of my top, DJ Bone, loves it there. We took Sterac there.
Okay,
DJ Bone only wants to go there. I'm like, really?
You know, man, it's either that or you know, burger-wise, last time you took me to In-N-Out Burger.
I did, and that.
Thank you for that, because my kids keep going on about that.
Hey, man, and maybe this Sunday when I drop you back to the airport, we can stop by the one by LAX.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's a guilty pleasure, man.
Yeah, well, Cisco, thank you so much for doing this, you know, on the way to work interview podcast series that we're about to pretty much be at the Korean barbecue spot. Tomorrow night, February 18th, is Compound. It's the first one of 2023. I just want to give a shout out, you know, to you, to Dustin and Fatima for being our special guests of the night, and to shout out to my partners, Synthetic Minds, Incognito, Dirty Epic, and obviously 6 a.m. And I want to give a shout out to Tommy, who is going to be taking care of you. He's also going to be joining us for dinner, and big fan. And yeah, Cisco, I'm looking forward to it.
Thank you for having me, Jay. Looking forward to tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Always good to be back with my LA family.
Yes, let's
get it on, man.
Right?
Wait, man. It's going to be a good one.
Let's eat.
Yeah, let's eat, man.
All right.
Peace.